Commissioner and I share a belief in the fact that in order for police officers to be able to do their jobs, we also need to create a Department of Community Safety, be tasked with those responsibilities. Appreciate the moments I just shared with Commissioner Tisch and a number of officers here with us to pay our respects to NYPD officers who lost their lives in the line of duty, and to learn a little bit more about the names that so many New Yorkers have come to know, the heroism, and the families that they've also left behind.
And I'll just add that every time our officers put on their uniform, they're carrying forward the legacy of those that we've lost. And what I was telling the mayor-elect is that this memorial so represents the heart of the NYPD, how we honor the sacrifices of those who have lost their lives in the line of duty. And so to me, it is very meaningful that he asked to come here as our first public venture to visit the memorial with me and with some of our officers here.
And I want to thank the Commissioner and the officers that are here for the work that they do each and every day to keep New Yorkers safe.
Commissioner, you two have very different policy positions. Are you worried at all that there is going to be an uptake of police officers resigning? And what are you going to do to help alleviate some concerns about potential future policy?
Yeah, so right now we're here to visit the memorial and honor the legacy of service that so many of our officers have left. And I'm sure there will be plenty of time to discuss all of that. But I really want to leave politics out of today's discussion.
One moment. I'm going to let the Commissioner and the officers get back to work, and as I walk towards the car, I'll answer as many questions as possible.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Shashi, break off.
Henry, hardwire.
Hardwire?
Henry,
Oh, sorry, shit.
about any sort of differences on policy proposals, especially when it comes to things like having let's go on the other side. Domestic violence calls.
That's not been part of the proposals that we have over the course of this campaign. What we did say, however, in the campaign is that it's untenable for officers to be asked to respond to the 200,000 mental health calls they receive every year, to be tasked with the responsibility of taking on the mental health crisis, the homelessness crisis. The Commissioner and I share a belief in the fact that in order for police officers to be able to do their jobs, we also need to create a Department of Community Safety, be tasked with those responsibilities, because when we look at the fact that officers had a response time of less than 11 minutes in 2020, today it's closer to 16, a lot of that has to do with the fact that so many of these responsibilities continue only to increase. It's time to make sure police officers can do policing, and that we have a Department of Community Safety that can take on these other issues.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Every New Yorker deserves to be safe, and today I'm announcing a plan to deliver exactly that. Public safety is created by stable homes, good-paying work, and well-resourced neighborhoods. Addressing these issues are at the core of our campaign. But we must also aggressively pursue evidence-based strategies that prevent violence and crime before they occur. I will create a Department of Community Safety, the DCS. This new agency will coordinate a whole-of-government approach to protect New Yorkers like never before. We will invest in citywide mental health outreach and crisis response, expand gun violence prevention programs, address hate, and tackle homelessness. The DCS will make public transit safer, placing dedicated outreach workers in our subway stations, transforming vacant commercial units to provide medical services and connections to long-term care, and investing in transit ambassadors to assist New Yorkers on their journeys. There will be visible, trained teams in our subways. Their presence and their work will make all of us safer. Police have a critical role to play, but right now we're relying on them to deal with the failures of our social safety net, which is preventing them from doing their actual jobs. It's one of the reasons so many crimes are left unresolved. New Yorkers deserve a leader that treats public safety with the seriousness it deserves. I first want to say thank you to Nancy Cantor, president of Hunter College, for having us here today. It is a privilege to be here as we take the next big step forward into our mayoral transition. And it feels fitting to be standing in the very place where FDR shaped his own presidential transition, and where he and his team devised the foundation of the New Deal, including Social Security. I've said many times that Above all, my politics is one of consistency. When we launched our campaign in October of last year, we made clear that it would be focused on tackling the affordability crisis that devastates far too many working New Yorkers across these 5 boroughs. Those who work from dusk until dawn, and still, it isn't enough. But that consistency extends beyond our policy priorities. Nothing has been more unwavering within this movement than our commitment to excellence. Excellence was the rubric around which we built our campaign team, and it will be the framework through which we approach every governing decision. And excellence is not abstract. It will be reflected in the highest levels of City Hall and the advisors who most shape my decision-making. Today, I am proud to announce my first deputy mayor and my chief of staff, 2 leaders who have deep experience guiding our city and state through challenging moments, possess the fresh, innovative ideas needed to transform our city, and the expertise to help me deliver on the campaign promises that resonated with more than 1 million New Yorkers a literal over a week today. First, I want to announce my first deputy mayor, Dean Fullahan. Except that I know for many, he will require no introduction. I'm grateful to him for returning to public service, and I know he has chosen to do so because he believes in our administration's ability to deliver universal childcare, making the slowest buses in America fast and free, and freezing the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants in this city. Dean has been an incredibly influential leader and manager in New York City government and state government for almost 5 decades. No one is better versed in how city government functions, how it engages productively with leadership in Albany, or has a deeper understanding of how to achieve positive outcomes from even the most challenging of situations. When Dean began his career in New York politics in the late 70s, the Bronx was burning. Over his decades of service in the Assembly, he rose to manage negotiations over the budget process and stewarded our state into a period of financial stability. Few have as much experience leading from City Hall. Having served as Director of Operations for Mayor Giuliani, he later served as Mayor de Blasio's Budget Director from 2014 to 2018. And the role of First Deputy Mayor will not be foreign to him. He served in this position under Mayor de Blasio after leading OMB, and ran the city whenever Mayor de Blasio was not in the city. I will turn to Dean for counsel not only for his wealth of managerial experience, but also because of the similarity between our visions for this city. Dean is a child of Lebanese immigrants, and like me, he has seen our city through the prism of the immigrant experience, and knows well that there are many New Yorkers who our leaders never tend to. I've been deeply impressed by how fiercely he shares my belief that this city must be one that works for the many instead of just for the privileged few, and how committed he is to enacting this agenda. We know that the scope of that agenda is a vast one, and so too are the numbers of those who would wish it to fail. I speak not only of those who have benefited from this broken politics, but also those of our president and his federal government, who will not only want to see a failure in the delivery of these agenda items, but also an inability of our administration to live up to that which we ran on. Dean's steadiness, his managerial competence, and his clarity of vision will support me as we take on those who would wish this to be a continuation of politics as it has been, and instead deliver what politics can be in this city that we call home. I also want to announce my incoming Chief of Staff, the unparalleled L. Bisgard Church. Few have played a more central role in this movement, or in every victory we achieved together in the Assembly, than L. She became my Assembly Chief of Staff nearly 5 years ago to the day, worked closely with me to win hundreds of millions of dollars in relief for taxi drivers, and served as the campaign manager for our historic primary campaign. Anyone who knows Elle knows her as someone unapologetically committed to the cause of improving the lives of working people. These are not just the political positions that she holds, they are deeply humanistic principles from which she never strays. For all of us who have been fortunate enough to work alongside her, Elle is our moral compass, our brilliant strategic center, and a genuinely kind and selfless person. As my Chief of Staff, Elle will remain intimately involved in every decision we make, from who joins the administration, to how we enact our agenda, to how we ensure that government remains accessible and transparent to every New Yorker. And together, alongside Dean, she will be responsible for ensuring that our commitment to excellence remains inviolable, and that City Hall remains what we have sought to make it, a shining beacon of good governance across the city, across the state, and across this country.